why is it important to track the pollution and the litter in our communities? Well, to identify problematic hotspots, to allocate resources equitably. I'm from the Bronx. I always wanted the Manhattan to be just as clean as the outer boroughs. So in order to do that, we need data. We also needed a lot of community organizations use the data to apply for additional federal grants. It measures year-over-year progress, and probably most important, it helps you comply with regulations like EPA, MS4, EPR, and all this good stuff. Next slide. So what are we tracking? Well, we could track, this is just a number of things that we can track. Food waste, garbage piles, graffiti, what brands are littered, hazardous waste, and litter down to the micro level, like it could be tobacco or plastic bottles, or things like overflowing trash cans. So back in 2023, which seems like forever ago, but it was only a couple of months ago, we did our first survey in our own backyard in Northern California. And we hit the city streets, the beaches, and the parks. And along the way, we used our app to collect this data. We took a photo of each item. And we could see how far we walked, the amount of time we spent out on the streets doing these surveys. And most fun and interesting of all, the AI categorized all our findings for us. So this is a couple of the impressive examples that I was able to find. That over here, this little piece of plastic, it was able to detect that. It correctly matched shoes as textiles. And I don't know if you could see this, but there's a little plastic cap nestled right in those leaves, and I was able to detect that. Next slide. And even when we went to the beach and forested areas, the AI was still able to detect things like styrofoam on the branches, textiles that were probably on the beach for months or years that were beginning to be degraded. And this tiny broken piece of a glass bottle was still detected even after it's been long destroyed. So how to read this slide? The more green, the better. Our accuracy rates were 75%. And I'm not sure if anyone was listening or if people heard at the Recology tour. That's about the same accuracy levels as those $1 million glacier machines that they were using at Recology. So what does that mean? What does this new generation of AI mean for us? Well, it means that technology is being democratized for all of us. You don't need $1 million to be able to utilize this kind of AI for your own use cases. It also helped us do our job significantly faster in terms of data collection and waste characterization. It automated repetitive tasks. It makes things more accessible by being able to easily do audio feedback that I'll show later, multilingual support, and it's, like I mentioned, cheaper. And it is less biased. It is not unbiased, but the bias is more explicit, consistent, and quote unquote controllable. Next. All right, so this is a zero waste conference. So I also wanted to talk about how AI could help us with composting and recycling. And this is the new stuff that we just released as an alpha version or beta version recently. And our goal is to provide up-to-date information, recycling information wherever you go. So this might not be controversial, maybe. People kind of suck at recycling, or the average person, not the people in this room. But it's not their fault. It's hard. The people who make these charts are amazing, and they're very important in helping us determine where to throw things out. But there's still a lot of barriers. People have to get them. They have to read them. They have to memorize them or have them accessible. The item you might want to throw out or compost might not be on this list. And there might also be language barriers. And even if you memorize this perfectly, the regulations could change next year, or you cross county line and all rules are off, or all bets are off. It could be completely different. So our goal with what we're doing is to simplify the recycling instructions, make it fun and easy, tailor the instructions by region, and centralize all these evolving legislations, and be able to do also contamination detection as some extra credit. And all for the purposes of you, businesses and residents and everybody being able to comply with local laws and legislations. So how does it work? Well, quite easily, you just snap the photo and it tells you how to dispose of it. But what's really cool is that if you give it like this rotisserie chicken, like I was talking with Dennis here earlier, that it will tell you how to take apart your item and dispose of the individual elements. So things like the chicken goes to compost, the paper goes to recycling, and the plastic container also goes to recycling. But if and only if it's washed first. Next. Also, we plan to support local recycling guidelines. So funny enough, recycling in this is recyclable in San Francisco, this milk carton, but in Berkeley, it's not, it's trash. So that's something that we're going to release later this month. Next. All right, so instead of showing you or telling you, I'd rather show you, and I'll try a live demo. I have 2 minutes. Can I really quickly borrow your lunch? Let's see if this works. It looks delicious. All right, so the way it works is I'll take a photo of your lunch. I'll give that back to you. What's your name? Jamie. Thank you, Jamie. And it'll tell me, if my internet's good, how to recycle it.
The item in the image is a clear plastic container, likely made of a recyclable plastic such as PET, polyethylene terephthalate, or PP, polypropylene, commonly used for food storage. The container appears to be clean and without residues, which is suitable for recycling. Rationale. Clear plastic containers like this are typically recyclable, but it is important to check the recycling symbol and number on the container to determine the specific type of plastic and whether it is accepted by the local recycling.
This is a longer version. We have more concise versions too.
But recyclable, aiming to reduce the amount of waste going to landfills. Special instructions. Before placing the plastic container in the recycling bin, ensure that any remaining food residue is cleaned off, as contamination can make the recycling process more difficult and costly.
Okay, so that's an example of it breaking down, telling you how to recycle it properly. Do I have another minute or two? All right, 1 minute. Does anyone else have anything else that they want to test? That's too easy. Can is too easy. Laptop? Sure. Can I borrow your laptop? All right, so I'm not going to lift your laptop. It looks a lot like this laptop, but it's Windows. Should still work.
I'm sorry, I cannot assist with this.
All right. All right, while I try again, I guess we could open it up to questions.
We can take one question. Rick Anthony, can someone give him a mic? Okay.
Yes, next slide. Anyone could download it. It's available only if you have iOS though. It's available in the App Store. We're going to launch the fuller version of the recycling AI.
E-waste identification. The item in the image is a laptop computer, a portable electronic device used for computing tasks category.
Okay.
The disposal category for this item is e-waste, which stands for electronic waste.
Okay, we have a concise version of this too. I left it on the more educational version.
Such as batteries that should not be disposed of in the regular trash. Electronic waste usually requires specialized disposal methods to properly recycle the components.
Okay. I'll cut it off there. One of the other things that we want to do is, since we know the identification problem is more or less solved, so we want to connect it to local legislations, and we also want to connect it to local haulers and local specialty disposal sites. So not only do you tell person, oh, this is e-waste, but it's e-waste and you got to take it here. Or it's lead paint and you could take it to Recology. Or it's a mattress and you contact the Mattress Council. So any more? Do we have time for another question? No, we don't. That's it.
It's okay. One more. We got buffers built into this. This is a good conversation. Anyone got a question?
Yes. Oh, fight it out. I checked that because I knew I would be asked. In San Francisco, all the food packaging, according to regulations, has to be recyclable. And that was a San Francisco Safeway chicken. So I don't know, maybe if Safeway. Okay. According to Recology's website. Yeah. As that. To the extent that a human can see by whatever information is given to it, like we can program in like black plastic versus like more rigid stuff. But if there's an indication and we could prompt it to be like, hey, black plastic is probably not recyclable, no matter what San Francisco says, that we could handle that as well.